Thank you so much for being here with me today. And I hope you are comfortable being with me. I'm just going to be talking about something that I've been reflecting on this week again. So each week it's a reflection, right? I'm not going to be long. And yes, it is Florida's bipolar weather. Last week it was freezing, and this week I don't know whether to open the door or what. I just turned the pipe on and the water was so hot. All right, it's a midweek pause. I start my week of posting on Wednesdays. If you have noticed, I'm gonna welcome you to another midweek pause. You don't have to do anything right now. I don't know if you're here with me. I want to welcome you, and if you're watching the replay, that's perfect too. This morning I made a post talking about, as a matter of fact, for the past couple of weeks my posts have been about slowing down, just resetting. It does not necessarily mean that we're falling behind. To some people it might be that we're falling behind, but every woman's intention is her intention, right? A pause is not necessarily a full stop. Resting does not necessarily mean that you're weak. As women, we are trained to just keep pushing regardless, just continue going like the Energizer Bunny. But productivity is equal to the value that you bring to others, right? But sometimes you have to check yourself and see how valuable you are to you before you can really reach out and give value to others. I somehow just felt like putting on these glasses tonight. I have had to step back from the hustle, just checking myself every step of the way. I check myself to see if what I am doing, if I'm going to use a word that is not conducive to the place that I want to be, and that word is comfort. If I'm doing something and I don't think I'm doing it the way that I should be doing it, or if I don't fully understand something, there is such a thing as the colors training. In my business, we have done a colors training, and that training told us something about all the colors and how it relates, the psychology of colors and how it relates to the behavior of people. And when I looked at me, I said I was red, but as the time went by, I found some green in me. Yes, sometimes I think and I might end up overthinking. But what I have noticed, I'm going to talk a little bit about health. I'm not teaching, but what I've noticed is you have to listen. You have to listen to your body. You have to resettle. You have to come in to the person that you are. Hi, Tamara. Good evening. Thank you, ladies. Yes, women 50 plus, you have to listen. You have to get away from the noise sometimes, and you have to listen to your body. In what I've noticed is that even with the way that I eat, and that include fruits, even with the things that I eat, I've had to listen to my body, because there was a time when I could just go ahead and eat anything that I wanted. And when I stopped eating meat, I was focusing more on a fruit diet. I even started a fruit business that was doing extremely well in 2022. Yes, 2022. maybe 2021, 22. I said to myself, because people would say that they can't afford certain things. And so what I said, when I rationalized it, what I said, but if I take all the money that I'm using to buy meat, rice, flour, sugar, cornmeal, that's the list I remember from when I was a child. Every week you're going shopping. Flour, sugar, rice, cornmeal, soap, and the list would go on because it's that list from you're a child. And because of culture, you grow up doing certain things, just eating whatever. I was able to eat anything I wanted. And so when I cut off of eating meat because of fibroids, I started doing more fruit, and a lot of vegetable. I was also looking for the alternatives that I could use for meat, not substitutes, but alternatives that would give me enough protein in my diet. I stayed away from eggs. I stayed away from a lot of meat, anything that would, as a matter of fact, I just turned off entirely from eating meat because my favorite meat to eat was goat flesh because I like curry. I like spice and I like curry, so my favorite thing was goat. But in 2011, one of my doctors told me that he said something to me about chicken and fish. And those were two meats that I really didn't like. Even though I wasn't eating much of them, I was still eating what I liked. And fibroids just continued to grow. In 2017, I remember I made a decision, but I think I was still messing with the meat that I like. I made a decision to cut down on the meat that I eat, the meats or anything meats. And I did that. And I remember when my friend died, I was at a funeral. I went to her funeral and I had everything. As a matter of fact, I went home. My mom had saved some. She killed 2 goats and she saved meat for me because she know that's something that I love. But then when I went back home after the funeral, I had what I wanted to eat and I went back home. I realized I brought the meat home and I was excited to go cook my goat soup and goat head, goat foot, whatever. And it was like a deeper spirit. Something within was speaking to me and I turned off. I turned off from eating goat meat. Yep, in 2021, I think it was. And that was when I had met Dr. Yaki at that time. And he showed me, he reasoned with me through his website and his videos. He reasoned with me. When you look at I'm not teaching, but when you look at the jaws of humans and monkeys, those are the closest to us. When you look at the design of us and you compare it, hi Boston, and you compare that to meat eaters, which are like lions, tigers, you see that the bone structure is different, the teeth is different, the saliva is different, the internal organs, meaning the digestive system, is different. With that reasoning, I decided that I think he knew what he was talking about. And so I started to eat more fruits. But my daughter said one thing, she's more into keto, and keto is no fruit, a whole lot of fats, a whole lot of meats and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm eating fruits. And I remember one night I went to my bed and I'm saying, like, if I'm going to my bed at 11 o'clock and I feel hungry, I would go grab an apple and I'd eat that. I remember one night I did that. And I also remember waking up the next morning and feeling like I was drunk. I could not get up. I did not know what to relate it to, because here I am being innocent, eating just fruits and going to my bed. Thank you, Colette. And she bakes. She's a baker. And she had something in the fridge that I love. Bread pudding. She has a special name for the bread pudding. And on top of the bread pudding, she would put like caramel syrup on that. No, I am somebody who I don't do sugars. So the most sugar that would go into my body would be what I get from fruits, or if I had something sweet to eat. This is how I was gonna know that fruits were messing with the sugars in the fruit was messing with me, with how I was able, with my vibrancy, with I was able to get up, because I am normally a person who I just rise out of my bed. And so I asked her, that cake, that pudding was for somebody, but she had done it from the week before and she had not shipped it out. I said, since you didn't ship this, can I have a piece? And it was in the night as well. I had that and I went to my bed. And believe me, I had the same feeling from eating one slice of that bread pudding with that caramel on it, as I had when I had the apple. It happened to me several times. It's not that I'm a hard learner, but I test my body. How I test my body? I had food. When I came to America, I was like just having watermelon. You can't tell me anything. But I always try to get the watermelon with the seeds. No, I can't get watermelon with seeds. And if I had a piece of that watermelon, same like the apple, and go to my bed, I cannot wake up. No, I had learned from Dr. Yaki not to mix watermelon with anything else. If I'm gonna have it, I should just have it like that. And I would blend it, but if I blend it, I don't blend it with the skin, because of the nitrate contents in the skin. I don't blend it with the skin. I would have watermelon, I would have grapes, or not all at the same time or on the same night. But I found out over a period of time that whichever fruit it was, if I was sleeping and I get up in the night, I feel like I want something to eat, and I go and have a piece of watermelon. Remember, when I wake up in the morning, I feel like a ton of weight is on my body and I cannot get up. The point of this is, I'm just saying to you that we have to listen to what our body is saying to us. As I said, I used to be able to get up and go. Now, at the age of 60, I find that I can't do the things that I used to be able to. I cannot get away with the things that I used to be able to get away with. It's just listening. Now, when I started my business a few years ago, I was moving pretty fast. I was just going and going and going. But there were times when I was doing things that I didn't even understand. And I love to understand what I'm doing. I think that's one of my shortcomings. My friend asked me today, my friend, my partner, the love of my life. He asked me today, I was listening to Dean Graziosi doing a presentation, and he was there and he overheard what Dean said, and he asked me what's holding me back. And I think that's the green in me coming out. It's not that I'm trying to be perfect, but I just love to understand what I'm doing. And I know that I'm not the only one. I'm not the only woman in my age group who wants to have an understanding of what they're doing. Yes, I like to run with something. If I know that I have proof that something is good for me, then I want to share it. It's like you're sharing the gospel. You get good news, so you want to share it. But when we rush, when we don't listen to our bodies normally send us signals, and when we don't listen, sometimes we burn out. I don't know if anybody on here know what it feels like to burn out, to be fatigued emotionally and otherwise, to just be missing a lot of. Sometimes you feel like your body is separated from your spirit. You are going one way, but your spirit, another part of you want to stay right here. Yes, I have felt that way. And because of that, I have slowed down. I've slowed down for more reasons than one. I've slowed down to understand me, where I'm at. I've slowed down because I know that there are persons who look up to me who wants to know, can I do what you're doing? I would love to do what you're doing, but I don't want to be burnt out. And because of that, I've pulled back. I have retreated. And I'm going to talk a little bit about retreating. It does not necessarily mean that you're going to fall silent. There's more than one meanings to retreating. It does not mean you're wounded either. Have you ever suffered from fatigue, emotional, physical fatigue? My body always tells me when I'm pushing too hard. And so I am just listening and pulling back. It does not mean that I have isolated myself. I know I used to be out here a lot more than I am. I used to be out on here like every morning I'm doing a live, but no, I'm not doing that anymore. I don't have to do that anymore because I have to show my people that you can be present without overdoing. It's not weakness. It's not shrinking. It's basically recalibrating, just stepping back before you hurt yourself and choosing ease, being more intentional, and just repositioning. Retreat does not mean you're going to disappear. Retreat means you're going to look into and listen to your inner self. It basically means repositioning, recalibrating. Tell me, I want you to tell me, maybe here or if you're watching again, where in your life are you rushing unnecessarily? What would it look like? Tell me, what would it look like to move at your own pace this week, this month, next year? What would ease feel like for you? I was reflecting on something again this evening, and somebody apart from us is in control of what we do. If you are employed to someone and your employer, whether it's the government or private sector, is in charge of you. I'm not hitting on jobs, I am employed. And they decide that for whatever reason they're going to pull your job from out of you, from beneath you. Or if you get sick, if they pull your job and you're not able to work for 6 weeks or, oh Lord, 6 weeks or more, and if you are in this system and you have not been able to save enough money to tide you over for 6 weeks to 6 months, you're going to lose everything that you have in this system that I am a part of. You're going to so lose everything. And that is how so many people have ended up on the streets. That is how I see so many people ending up on the streets right here. Talking to my friend this evening again, and we're sharing it's some very interesting things. How is it that food and drug are under one administration? But I'm not gonna go there today. That's a story for another day. Let me continue with your life being, it's just a reflection. Somebody else being in control of your money. And if they decide to pull that, what you gonna do? You're just gonna go get another job. But it's a job. Somebody's in control of your money. And if you fall sick and you cannot go get another job, then it means that you are dependent. And when you are dependent, you have to take whatever you get. Yep. You just have to take what you get. And this system has so many, I'm going to say, benefits, Social Security. I don't know if that is even a thing anymore. A lot of people are going to be crying in the next couple of years about their Social Security checks. I'm not getting political. I'm just doing my thing here. The housing situation here, oh God, I don't want to touch on insurance, but it's different types of benefits that a citizen or a resident can get here in this country. It has caused people to be nonchalant and just dependent. They just relax and they just take whatever, anything. But I just want to say that we cannot leave our lives up to people to be in charge of us, because when we were growing up, all of us, we had visions of a bigger, better life. I used to read a lot when I was a kid. I saw my imagination was wild with what I could do, what I could have become, and then stuff happened. And if I say that these stuff that happened was like coming from culture. If the teacher tells you something, you're going to believe. If your pastor tells you something, you're going to believe. If the doctor tells you something, anything they tell you, anything any of those people tell you, it's gospel, so you're going to believe them. And culture has caused us to be trapped in box and box and box, and so we have been boxed in. Now, I am not telling anyone or hitting anybody's job, but I'm just saying we need to be in control of our lives, or we need to be somewhat in control of our lives. Take what resonates with you and leave the rest, as quietly we retreat. Abaddon is out.